Well, there you have it, folks. Had to take out the whole power steering assembly just to get to the AC compressor. Thank you, Toyota, for nothing. Welcome back. It's your guy, Engineer Mojo, with another car tutorial video. Today we are working on my 2003 Toyota Tacoma, doing a virtually full replacement of every AC component on this vehicle. As always, a full tool list and material list is on the screen and also down below in the video description. Let's get going. You want to start off by popping your hood and removing the front grille to your vehicle. This is pretty easy. A few screws on top, a few clips inside the grille. I have a full video on how to do this that's down below in the link. Feel free to check out that video, but for the sake of keeping this video on topic, I'll skim through that part. Here I am pointing out the clip locations. You pop each one of those after you unscrew the top screws by your headlights, and this grille comes right on off. Next up is your receiver dryer removal. It's that tall, slim canister that's to the right of the grill. There's two bolts holding on the dryer lines. You also have one bolt that clamps on the receiver dryer to your vehicle. We want to remove that as well. Quick tip, you want to remove the bolt for the AC lines first and then remove the bolt for the clamp. As you see in this video montage, I did the opposite first and it was pretty hard to remove the top lines because the AC dryer wanted to rotate. So go ahead and remove the top lines first and then remove the clamp second. If it's not already apparent, I'm working my way from the front of the vehicle and working my way to the back as far as removal. Take note on these two lines, you'll have O-rings that you'll need to replace and oil before you reinstall your AC dryer and receiver. While I'm working on the removal of the other parts of the system, I do cover these with tape just so that foreign material doesn't get inside the lines. Before reinstall, you want to put oil in your receiver and dryer. You want to oil the O-rings that you have to replace, and you also want to put oil inside the receiver and dryer. I'm putting it on the out inlet of the receiver and dryer. As you see, it's the middle circle that I'm putting the oil into. To reinstall, I lightly tighten the clamp around the side, then I install the two bolts on the top, and then I go back and retighten the clamp, and it's all put in place. Don't forget your O-rings. Next up, I want to remove the condenser, which is the little radiator type equipment that you see here. To get access to this and remove it, you want to remove the hood latch here. There's a couple bolts here that I'm putting out. And you want to remove the lines that are coming from the AC dryer. You can use a crescent wrench to remove those. Those all come out. You want to remove the horn. There's one bolt holding that in. And there's a few other bolts that I'm pointing out here that you'll have to remove, all with crescent wrenches. As always, once a line is removed, I always cover it with tape just so foreign debris doesn't enter the lines. Once the hood latch bracket is removed and also the lines are shifted out the way from in front of the condenser, now you can actually remove the bolts that hold on the condenser. The two bolts here, left and top. If you shift over to the other side of the vehicle, another two bolts in the same location, you can remove those, and then the condenser can slide out of the car. Here's just a quick video montage of that condenser removal and some of the accessories that are in the way. I'm showing you how I went through that process in this short clip. With the old condenser removed, now I can compare it to the new condenser that I'm going to replace it with. Just make sure that I have the correct part from the store. Make sure I have the correct connection points, make sure all that matches, and replacing any mount conditions that were on the existing condenser. Go ahead and replace those and put those on the new condenser itself. For my new condenser, I had to replace some of the AC bushing brackets as well as the AC refrigerant line tube that you see here on the right hand side. That just removes with the crescent wrench as well. Twist off and reinstall on your new condenser. I also had to remove the top left and right mount brackets from the old condenser and put those on the new condenser as well. Same as you did with your dryer, you want to add your AC oil to your condenser as well. As always, that was listed in the beginning of the video and also here, how much oil to add. With the AC dryer and condenser installed, as well as all the accessories connected back in place, my next move is to remove the AC compressor, which is inside the engine bay. As I alluded to in the beginning of the video, this is a bit of a pain to get to, but it's not impossible. It just takes a little bit of time and patience to remove the power steering. Before I remove the power steering components, I've removed the AC lines from the compressor, and also I've removed the lines at the firewall. I make that disconnection as well. I use a crescent wrench, as you see in this video montage, at the firewall to remove the lines from that connection at the firewall. Once that's removed, I go ahead and remove the entirety of the power steering and the airbox to get more clearance. And voila, movie magic, airbox and power steering components have been removed. I skipped the removal of those components on purpose just to keep this video on pace and on target. But if you need some assistance on how to get those off, YouTube has some great videos on how to get those components removed from your vehicle. Now with ample clearance, you're able to remove the AC compressor from the vehicle. That is just held on by 4 bolts that mount it to the engine block, as well as the 2 AC lines that you removed previously. I perform a quick comparison of the old and new AC compressor. As you see, I'll have to take off the AC line inlet and outlet on top of the compressor and transfer it onto the new compressor. That's that part right there. It goes right on top of the new compressor. Before completing that swap of that top inlet portion, I'll take out the oil that came with the new compressor. I don't know exactly how much they put in there, so I'm going to drain that out and put in the exact amount recommended by Toyota. Here I am reinstalling the inlet outlet neck to the top of the AC compressor. Again, here's the movie magic. I put all the components back inside the engine bay. AC compressor is hooked back in, as well as the power steering. Don't forget to replace the power steering that was lost when you removed it from your vehicle. Next, I'll continue on with the removal of components. I'll remove the small line from the firewall housing. I've removed the large line with the crescent wrench. Now I'll remove the small line, and that's easy enough to remove with a small flathead screwdriver. You want to pry lightly on the tab for that black piece. Here's just a close-up of that black piece on the line, that black holder clip, and how it engages and clamps onto the line. I found it was very helpful once I got it off. I realized how it attached and where I can pry. So make sure you pay close attention to how it pries off. Also, when you install it back, make sure you install it the same way it came off. With the black clamp removed, the small line can shimmy out of that inlet hose very easily. Notice that there are O-rings on that hose, so you'll have to replace those with new ones and oil those new ones. That's easy enough. Next up, you want to move to the inside of the car, the passenger side, to gain access to the expansion valve and evaporator. First thing you want to remove is the glove compartment box. There's 2 Phillips head screws on the bottom. Once those are removed, the glove box should slide on out of its hatched location. Next, you want to remove the support bar that's behind the glove box. There are 2 Phillips head screws and a bolt that needs to be removed from this location. Next, you want to remove this duct. You just want to take it, shift it to the left, and it'll slide right out of the vehicle. To the left and slide right out. I had some silver wrap on mine from somebody who worked on this car previously, but don't worry about that for yours. Just take that off if you have it and keep going. We're almost to the finish line here. Now we have to remove the evaporator housing. This is pretty easy. There's 2 electrical connections that hold this on, as well as 3 connections at the bottom I'm showing here. There's 1 to the top right and 1 to the top left. All those will be removed. The 2 connections are removed, electrical connections. Then this should slide right on out of your vehicle. Again, this was connected to the 2 lines at the firewall of the vehicle. If you remember, inside the engine bay, there's 2 lines that go to your firewall. This is what they connect to, your evaporator housing. To gain access to those top 2 mounting bolts, you may have to remove this top shroud from your vehicle. There's 2 bolts and a couple clips that keep this on. Remove those and you'll gain some better access to the top 2 bolts. Here I'm showing you where that top left tricky bolt is located, where you may have to remove the top shroud to gain access. With the electrical connections removed and the mounting bolts removed, the evaporator housing should slide right on out of the vehicle. With the housing removed, take it somewhere where you can work on it. There are 3 Phillips head screws and 3 small metal clips that hold everything together. Once you remove those, the top of the housing comes right off and it exposes the evaporator and the expansion valve. Once you take the housing off, you'll probably notice a lot of debris, so you want to go ahead and clean that out for sure. prior to replacing the evaporator and the expansion valve. At this point, you want to make sure you locate the sensor that's on the evaporator. Take that off, put it to the side for now. Also, you'll locate the expansion valve that's held on by two bolts, two hex bolts right on top. And there's a pressure switch, the AC pressure switch that's located right there. I'm pointing to it now. You'll also want to replace that as well as you're removing components. The pressure switch can be removed with a crescent wrench. Also note, there will be O-rings on the pressure switch and the expansion valves that you'll need to replace. Here's a quick video montage of the removal of the expansion valve. You'll see that the O-rings are there at the connection point, as well as the removal of and reinstallation of the pressure switch. You'll also want to add AC oil to your evaporator as well. Replacement of this component is pretty much opposite of removal. Do note on the back of this evaporator, there is a hose that leads to the outlet that drains all the water beneath your vehicle. You want to make sure that this drain hole connects properly back to the firewall drain hole. That way you're not draining water into your car, but rather underneath your car. Here's a close-up of that drain location and where it connects to beneath your vehicle. Well, folks, that is a wrap on this tutorial. From here, after everything is installed and back in place, you can now recharge your system. You have the option to do it yourself, or you can take it to your local shop and they can do it for you. I should soon have a video on how to recharge your system by yourself, and I'll show you the components and the cost breakdown to do that at home by yourself. As always, if you have any tips to make this easier, please share that down below. Please like, share, comment as well. As always, I appreciate the view. I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.